young people that have great respect for the chain of command and have great respect for one another. And, so we'll just keep moving forward in that regard. But I want to see Deshaun just continue to improve.
You said Saturday night you weren't comfortable with Deshaun under center in a short yardage situation. Is that something that's been a point of emphasis this week? Will we see that going forward? Or is it
You're not going to see us change our offense, no. I mean, we are who we are. Yes, we've been under center, and that's something that we do, but we're not an under center offense. That's not, I mean, we do go under center, but I'm not going to change what we do because we had one bad play. How about the 10,000 good plays that we've had? We scored twice on the 1 and the 2, once with Deshaun, once with CJ from the shotgun, and nobody was complaining on those because we did our job. Everybody's got a job to do. The fact of the matter is we've got to make the proper snap. But yes, we do have certain things that we do under center, but where we are with Deshaun Watson the other night, Chad just wasn't comfortable with it. In that situation, we're on the whatever inch-yard line, and had we been out in the field or something, it might have been different. But in that situation, we wanted to give him the best opportunity to be successful. If we'd have known we were going to snap it 20 yards down the field, anything, darned if you do, darned if you don't. But that didn't enter into our, we don't think that way because that's what we do every day. It's really a very simple thing. It's not a difficult thing. So we are who we are. I know that's an easy thing to be critical of, and that's fair to be critical of that because everybody has their own philosophies and things, what you should do and all that kind of stuff. But we're the coaches, and we're going to live and die with the results. But, we believe in what we do, 100%.
You talked about Lacob and the mental affecting the physical with Watson. Have you ever seen or coached a true freshman quarterback who's been so unaffected by that stuff?
Well, I told a few of my close friends this spring that and they looked at me like I was crazy because my comment was I've never had a freshman like Deshaun Watson. And they looked at me and said, what about Sammy Watkins? I said, no, Sammy Watkins included. Sammy was a special freshman, but he played wide out, all right? And that's a whole different deal than being able to go and process all the things that you have to process as a quarterback. And to see how he was able to absorb what we do this spring was amazing to me. I mean, it was amazing. There really was just very little transition for that guy. In any area, I mean, there's usually a transition somewhere with these young people when they come in. It's off the field. It's the speed of the game. It's the physicality of the game. It's the knowledge of the game. Like with Taj, he had a tremendous transition that he had to make from just a knowledge standpoint in learning our system and learning defense and passing game and concepts and all that kind of stuff. With this guy, it was just like you're sitting down dealing with a guy that's been here for 3 years. It was incredible. And the biggest thing for him was the terminology, just kind of getting on the same page with all that kind of stuff. And the protections a little bit, different defensive structures, but his ability to absorb it, and then his leadership and his commitment off the field, and just the type of young man he is. He's very, very mature. He's a very mature, 18, 19-year-old, way, wiser, than his years. So he's special, and I've said that many times. And but you have no idea how it's going to transfer into game situations when all you have is practice until you get in those situations. And he's been incredible so far with his opportunities. And we'll see where it goes from here. I'm sure there's going to come a time where he looks like a freshman, but at this point he really has not demonstrated that. He's not been overwhelmed at all.
The play before the bad snap, it looked like CJ might have gotten into the end zone, and I was wondering, what did the officials tell you? And then you know, they say NFL teams have somebody watching and can tell the coach, hey, throw a challenge flag or whatever. But do you have a process in place?
Oh yeah, absolutely. But you know, and we didn't really have a clear view. You know, it's way down there, and you know, they were just kind of matter of fact. And what they tell us is that they review every play, especially a play like that. It's just automatic, and if they see any type of doubt, they buzz them. And it was just kind of matter of fact, you know, which was, and especially when I go back and I watch our tape, but you know what, it didn't matter. It shouldn't have come to that. It shouldn't have come to that. Next play they jump offside, and the next play we snap it 20 yards down the field. So, you know, we're 0-2 versus Clemson. You know, that's the bottom line. You know, we've got to control the things that we control, and we'll be just fine. And that was a situation where, yeah, I wish they would have reviewed it. You know, I wish we didn't really have a lot of information up top. I mean, like I normally get. You know, like we had that happen a couple times in the Georgia game, and I was getting ready to challenge, but they buzzed them. You know, they reviewed everything. But you know, we just didn't have. There was no sense of urgency at all. It was just kind of matter of fact. You know, we didn't score, and you know, that's football.
When you watch the TV broadcast of that game, you can, as Ryan figures out what has just happened in that play, you can see the disappointment. What do you tell a player when something like that happens in a game that's that tight, in a huge ball game that, you know, the country? What do you say to that guy after that happens?
Well, I mean, we got to move on to the next play. I mean, the game wasn't over right there at that point. We had plenty of other times to win the game. You know, we went and scored 4 plays later. He made up some good snaps too when we went and scored. And I think when we went down there and scored the next time, we were where did we snap it on that last one? We were right down there. So you just go to the next play. I mean, there's no perfect players, just like there's no perfect people in here in this room. You know, people make mistakes. It's just unfortunate. Sometimes those mistakes are made in front of millions of people watching, and that's a hard thing. But you know, I tell him, hey man, I believe in you, love you, proud of you. Guys made a ton of great plays. That was a bad one. One he wishes he could have back. You know, as from a coaching standpoint, my message to him as you go through the week is, man, really stay focused on those fundamentals. You know, because when the pressure comes, the fundamentals have to hold up. And so, you know, that's why it's so important when we go into this Indy period, and even though it's a team period, staying focused, take your individual to your group and your group to your team, carry it all the way through every day of practice, because it really is the little things. You know, it comes down to the little things. So that, you know, just put my arm around him. I mean, and, you know, hey, just like when you got a 7-point lead with 6 minutes to go, and it's 2nd and 24. I think every one of us in here feel like Mackenzie Alexander played a pretty good ball game. Here's a freshman out there, and he's going against some cat daddies, all right? And he played a heck of a game. He played a heck of a ball game, but all he knew, because I asked him, you know, after the fact, he said, well, I knew it was 2nd down. I watched the tape with him, and I froze the screen. It's 2nd and 24. And I said, he goes, well, I knew it was 2nd down. He's so caught up into the competitive battle that he's got going on. He knows it's 2nd down, but he don't know it's 2nd and 24. And so that's a young player that has to grow. So you coach. And that's why you have to know the situation. You have to understand the situation. It's 2nd and 24. They're backed up, backs against the wall. It's okay if we're in a press call, but let's press bail. A 10-yard catch makes it 3rd and 14. And instead we give up a 74-yard touchdown pass because we just don't really understand the situation. We're kind of playing like it's 3rd and 1, and then we get a little technical issue. We get tangled up, and it's a 74-yard touchdown. So here's a freshman. And so, you know, we got to coach. And, you know, you have to stay in. That's why we coach them all the time. There's a checklist you have to go through every play, the whole game, so that you know, hey, you know, whether it's, hey, what's the call, what's the personnel, what's the situation, what's the down and distance, whatever. And he you can't skip from A to Z. You got to go through your process every single play. And so that's an opportunity for us to improve right there. So that's one play. You know, so, I mean, everybody points to Ryan Norton's, and yeah, that was a big mistake. And then you get the ball back with a minute, whatever, and everybody in the world knows that if you just hang on the ball, we got a chance to win the game. And, you know, we fumble the ball on the simplest play in our playbook. And C.J. Davidson played a great game. He played a great game. Ran hard. So I can't really explain those things other than you know, we got to take care of Clemson. It really is about Clemson. It really is. And so if we can improve in some of those areas, we're going to be a heck of a football team, because all the big things we got. We got the big things, the talent, the experience, the depth, the toughness, the will to win. Guys care. I was not happy after the Georgia game. All right, I was mad because, you know, I knew we were good enough, but I wasn't sure we cared enough, because we had a lot of mental errors. We had some loafs. We had some things that I was really frustrated with. But we're good enough, and I know we care enough. And if we can continue to harness that, we're going to be one of the better teams in this country when it's all said and done.
May I ask you, and you may have just now answered it a couple sentences ago, but when you do the